I heard you found something
Man, I
cool.
tell you what, we have got a prize for you today.
These guys in these restoration shops get calls all the time on old cars and barn finds. And they called me to go along when they dig this one out. So what have you done?
Hey! Welcome to the Wolfer, Texas, to Vintage Restorations, huh? Look, it's Uncle Jerry. So we have a buddy of ours named Joe Taff here in Lubbock, Texas. He is 92 years old. He's in our Lubbock Mustang Car Club. We were over there talking to him the other day, and he says, go out back. Now, we have been to Joe Taff's house how many times in 27 years? I mean, at least 7 times a year, at least. Never knew he had this. So we go back. He's got this dilapidated garage in the back of his backyard, and fling open the door, and there is his father's 1929 Model A sitting there. He thought the last time that it ran was 74.
Bought brand new in 1929.
He is.
Wow. Man, is that something else? That never gets old, does it?
Hard to believe it's sitting here out of sight, out of mind.
It's a 1929 Model A Roadster. I was born in 1930. My father was a young cotton farmer in 1929. A successful crop that year left him with money to spend. He decided to buy a new car. Being a Ford man, he bought a Model A Roadster. He told me that he picked it because it was $35 cheaper than a coupe with fancy glass in the doors. He told me that. When he was at the dealership, he did not know exactly how much money he had in the bank, so the dealer came up with an amount that was enough to release the car to him with the promise to come back later with the balance. And
So that's the difference in the checks that we see here.
here's why we have 2 checks.
Look at the dates on those. September 26th
$418.
of 1929. And it has why does it have the Ford logo on that check?
I don't know.
You have any idea why
No,
that was?
no,
I was kind of curious about that also.
I don't know.
And then he didn't have enough money quite for that, so that's why the second check has.
So he paid the difference later?
Yeah, about a week later, I think.
Or $45?
$45.
Yeah.
All right.
And let's look at this picture that's right here, though. Look at this. There's a picture of this at the farm. Now, who is in the wagon?
That's my nephew,
And where was that at, Joe?
Temple, Texas.
That's in Temple. Okay.
My nephew is now 72 years old.
Wow.
So tell me what your plans are for the car and what you want done today.
Since I've become disabled and I can't really justify keeping it here and just letting it sit, like any car, it needs to be taken care of, run, and all that is made to run. So Jeff has a budding museum, I guess you'd call that.
That's a nice word for it.
Jeff has agreed to take it out there to his place and clean it up and.
We're gonna get all nice and pretty again. We're gonna go for a ride, huh?
Yeah.
I don't think they had tubeless back then.
I don't want it restored. It's a survivor,
Yes.
we'd say. So we're just gonna clean it up and get it
Get it
fixed
now.
up,
Get it going
running.
again.
Mechanically. Yep, he's coming up.
There's one.
What do you think, Jeff?
God, looks good. Look at the plugs are all clean. Starter looks actually halfway decent. Look at that. Yeah, that's the great thing about being in Lubbock, Texas. Everything's dry and no rotty.
Hoses ain't rotted out.
Man, look at that. We're gonna get lucky today, guys.
Generator, that's still in good shape. Doesn't look all rusted up. This thing was kept in a barn or garage most of its life.
You know, the cores aren't all rotted up, so that's a good sign.
So you've started lots of cars that wouldn't start. I mean,
Yeah.
is this your biggest challenge or is it?
I don't know. Like I said earlier, they're hard to kill. Like I said, my 1914, it's amazing. We don't mess with it for 2 or 3 years. You can go out there and throw a little bit of gasoline in it and it fires up. They're pretty resilient. So I guess we're fixing to find out. We got to figure out where the battery is for it and send it to the battery store here in a second so we can actually have something to power it with. We'll have a 6-volt battery with a
Positive ground.
ground, right?
Yep.
Yeah, so we'll have something a little different than most of our Mustangs that we deal with. Look at this. Now, I mean, there's pretty chrome. Look at the headlight. I mean, it's pretty nice. The horns here, and see the Ford crest on the original headlights. See that here and here, and they're still matching. They got the top. See the eyebrow. Are we red eye?
Ready? You want to pull her forward? See if she's actually going to roll and not have any brakes locked up or something. All right, that should be neutral. The brake seems to be off. She rolls. She rolls. It doesn't feel like the brakes are locked up on it.
Stuff.
It didn't move.
Is it?
Yeah, I got some stuff under the car over here.
And the tires are even holding air. We pulled some stuff out of holes before, but man, we're getting way too lucky today. I was gonna say, once you get me in the front because of my arm, you steer and I'll shove.
Daddy'd go to town usually on Saturday and get the supply of groceries for the next week. In the summertime, we didn't have any refrigerator or anything like that. So when he went to town, he'd get a 50-pound block of ice, wrap it up, lay it on the fender of the Model A.
How many brothers and sisters did you have?
One brother and one sister.
So all of you.
I never could figure that out. My sister has two brothers, and I just have one.
Did you ride in the back in the rumble seat back there?
Well, yeah, that was the bad part about it. After we were, 3 or 4 or 5 years old, that Model A is just a pretty narrow seat. Well, Mother and Daddy just about filled it up. So they relegated us to the rumble seat.
No car ever comes into our shop unless it has a name. It's very unlucky.
Okay, I got one for you.
What is it?
Bessie.
Bessie.
You like it?
Kind of looks like a Bessie. What do you think, huh? Look at this. What color is this thing? Is it red?
That car came the color it is, a dark red color with black fenders.
Look at this. Look at this, Jerry. 1964.
Last inspection?
It almost looks like someone had painted this with a brush.
Really?
Yeah, at one time or another.
It looks like it has been painted with house paint, with a brush. Do you know anything about that?
It certainly has. The paint didn't last but just a year or two. It was very poor paint job. Back then, he didn't have a spray gun or anything to use, so he just used his brush.
This is the tool bag that kind of coming apart.
There's a tool bag.
That's the original tool bag, and that's some of the original tools.
Dang right that is. Look at that stuff, huh? That's neat.
What is it there?
53771.
In those days, people didn't go places. Mostly its whole life was used as a utility vehicle. Pulled a trailer.
So it was like a pickup for you all.
Yeah. Since we didn't have a truck, that's how we hauled cotton to the gin.
But look at the top. Not bad.
What do we got up here?
That's the fuel tank cap.
That's gasoline.
The cowl on these were actually the gas tank because they were gravity feed for the carburetor. They didn't have a fuel pump.
So where's the battery?
Or is it? It's in the passenger floorboard.
Or is it?
Or right here, rumble seat area. We got it. Oh wow! What?
Baling wire. I bet that's 100 years old.
What'd you find? These were
Oh yeah, there's the luggage rack.
luggage racks that actually went, if I remember right, to the side of the car. They bolted them onto the running boards to hold your luggage in place.
So
Yeah,
we're
we're
looking for batteries. What we're
We're
looking
gonna
for.
lift up and slide the seat.
Gasket. And looks like it's clip pin for his.
Oh no, that's the crank.
Oh, that's the crank for the front of it. Yes.
Crank and the lug wrench.
And the lug wrench. Look at that.
It had an electric start, but if you ran the battery down, you could actually hand crank it, get it to start. We're gonna pull this floor mat up. Let's see what kind of access. It does have the wooden floorboard.
So it's actually wood under there. That's...
Yep, there's the battery. There we go.
So you're just going to get a new battery, of course.
Yeah, we're gonna send this to the parts guy right now. All right, shall we get this dude in the hole?
They turned over. That was...
Yeah.
That was in 1929 when he bought the car, which totaled about $500. In 1930, or 31, he and my mother decided they wanted a house. So they had a 2-room house built, a 12 by 24 divided into 2 rooms. That cost $200, and it took them 10 years during the Depression to pay that off. So that shows you the difference in prosperous times before the Depression and times during the Depression.
So we don't lose them. All right, let's get this baby pushed out of here. It won't take much, I promise. Ready, Jerry?
I am ready. Let's hit it.
Take the seat out.
Yep.
You're gonna wash it.
This is the detail crew.
Dream Shine Mobile Detail.
Have you done cars like this before?
This is the first one this old. We've done one like this, but not all original.
So is there any special way you do an old car like this?
Very delicate. We're gonna just wash it down, give it a good old wash and vacuum, and hopefully we find an old coin in here.
I've been looking. I found an old head gasket for a flathead. Check that out, huh? How about a washer, huh? It was the Depression, man. You can't have no coins.
We're gonna vacuum it up real good. This is a degreaser. We're just gonna degrease it. Over here, see it's cruising again. Wheels and motor. Knocking 30 years of dust off of this bad boy right now. 30 years of dust. I was about to give it a good old hand wash. This is probably her, it is her first wash.
Wow, you get after it.
Yes, sir. They need to wax and buff one day.
So is this harder to do than a late model car or easier?
That was way easier. There's no clear coat. Big rolling metal. And then let's see what's on. Look at that little windshield wiper. You ever seen one like that, huh? How we doing in Lubbock, Texas? Hey, you take a picture of us, big dog? Yes, get in the front. Like you're driving. You're driving me around. Like the president. Once in a lifetime. All right, we're off. You got to step here, and then you got to step there, and then you're off. We're just gonna give the tire some pizzazz.
What's that you putting on there?
This is called New Glow Tire Shine. When they see you shining down the road, they just leave it on there.
You gonna wipe it off?
No, sir.
Look at this thing. This is amazing.
Yeah.
Look how great this is. I mean, you know, patina's cool nowadays, and boy, I'll tell you what, that's pretty cool.
Yeah. They just needed a little washing. Yes, sir.
Part of it.
Yep. The mixture, lean and rich mixture screw is frozen on it. It's built inside this tube.
Oh, in case you're wondering, way down here is the carburetor.
So in a Model T and a Model A, this is where you fill, and we'll go ahead and take that off. That'll help us with our flow. But as you can see where the line is right here, and the line here, this is the fuel tank. Let's get the old fuel out of here. Drain it out. Better to see you with, my dear. Ooh, it is stinky. I mean, you can tell it's very, very bad, but... So it does not have a fuel pump. It's actually gravity fed into the carburetor. So it has enough momentum to get itself down there with gravity, right?
Well said. Meanwhile, Neil is going to ungum that gummed up carburetor.
This is the fuel mixture screw, and it's actually froze up. This piece actually is frozen inside here, so I've got to try to break it loose where it'll actually rotate back and forth. Just some regular old brake clean down, just kind of flush it and wash it off. And old gas, it sits a long time, turns like gum. This part here, this piece here would not twist. Now it's actually moving.
Is that like a needle and seat?
It's like a needle and seat. It riches and leans the fuel mixture. Screwing it back in just like it was. Make sure the shaft itself isn't frozen up. This is the bowl here, and the float and everything was inside this part. They were actually made of copper, and they were soldered in, and they're usually pretty resilient. Kind of looks like maybe someone's been in here. There's some, you can see marks on the bowl, these screws on the bowl and stuff, and it looks like this needle and seat setup has been replaced at one time or another. This is actually the choke and the fuel mixture. You pull it out for the choke, and then you twist it left or right, depending on if you want to richen or lean the carburetor.
You know, the great thing about Neil is Neil sees life different than all the rest of us. You throw all that crap on the floor over there, and you figure out how to go in there in about 30 seconds just because you can see how that goes, and that goes, and that goes, and that goes, and that goes. Look at that, Jerry. So, do you see it has the keeper that's right where his thumb is right there? Right on the other side, see? So that piece presses into that, that's what makes it
It's actually got a little dimple in there. That actually rides inside that channel, and that's what, when you pull this up, it actually closes the choke on this butterfly down here.
And opens it around. Yeah.
Wow. Is that a late model coil?
That's the coil. Yeah, it's been, like you said, you remember he said they had some parade use in this in the 70s. He thought the last time that it ran was 74. Well, that was an easy fix today. We're still on the positive end of the Model A today. It's going our way.
And you can see the distribution of spark from the distributor to the plugs and show what happens.
So you can see this is the advancement on the distributor right there.
So
We'll do that here in a minute, but you can see, and then go up to where Neil's at, and you can see
Okay.
what he's doing on the lever on the dash.
This is the lever. This is actually what advances and retards the timing while you drive.
So for starting, where do you want it?
Starting, you want it retarded. You want it as open as possible, as light as possible as it can.
Right there, huh?
Yep. And then this is your gas. So you bring it down about a quarter way down, and usually that's the ideal point to get it started. As it gets warmer and you get going, you can actually pull it down, and then you can give it more gas. You can advance the timing, so you can speed it up a little bit.
We do need to probably put a little WD-40 on those points over there. Yeah.
What are you doing now?
I actually put a little WD-40 on these pivot points to help get this stuff moving a little freer. Do a little bit down the hinges here.
Can't believe this glass was this clink that was flowing this is good.
Nothing like it. Water displacement 40.
Come up here and give it a little shot out here.
Okay. I got it.
These are the throttle and the advancement on the timing.
So what he was pulling up on the column, that's the bottom side that's advancing out here. Better. Now go move it. I bet you it'll go pretty good now. That was a lot better.
A little bit. It's still snug, but I'd rather, like I said. It looks like we have a gas pedal on the floor as well. Here, like basically, talking the other day, like a cruise control.
Mm-hmm.
It actually, let me take this down for a second. When I move the throttle on the steering, it actually moves the pedal.
Oh, so there is a pedal down there.
There is a pedal. Is it moving it out there?
Sure is.
Yeah. So it actually has it. Yeah.
Got it automated now.
See, WD-40 has lots of purposes, doesn't it? Hold the fuel filter on it. Fuel can.
We're going to set the battery in there, Jerry. This actually uses the positive as a ground instead of a negative as a ground.
But where do you get a Model A battery these days? What's that?
It's mostly either tractors or old cars.
You still make it.
They,
We had to call it in, but they found one for us.
snug fit. This webbing cable here is actually what goes on the positive battery, and it ties into the transmission. It's grounded on the transmission. Now, theoretically, these would have been a black. This should have been a black one. So that someone has changed this one out, which is red, but it should actually have been black.
The red should be black because that's the negative
Right.
side.
Yeah, someone has replaced it over the years and just put a red one on it. It's probably because it was long enough to get where they needed to go.
I wanted to show you something that was funny that we found this morning while we were going through the rubble seat. We found the original jack. I mean, look at this Chinese torture chamber. I mean, that's kind of wild. Flip it over, go the other direction. That's up and down. That screws up and down with that. But, you know, we always say you can keep a Model A running as long as you have some barbed wire. Guess what? We got a bunch of it. This was in the boot, in the trunk. Yeah, the baling wire, huh? 3 things of it. So how about that, huh? In the bad weather, 29 by 40 by 50 here is a set of snow tire chains for bad weather. And we're not real sure what this is as of yet.
What do you think the odds are when it starts?
Man, I don't know. Are we betting today? Are we in?
Can you hit that horn and see if it'll work? You got the battery in.
Okay. Matt is down. All right. Oh no, are you kidding? Did it really?
That was it.
What happened? Froze up already?
Yeah.
No. They got a baby armor, huh?
Yeah.
Sounds like a cow mooing.
Yes, it did. Huh?
Let's throw a little WD-40 back. Try to get some in there, maybe. See any access point. Okay, hold on, I found the oil pack.
You gonna adjust it?
We're gonna take one of the screws out and then spray some WD-40 down off in there.
What are you trying to hit there?
I have the armatures and the bearings in it.
Get ready to press the horn. Can I do it this time, or you want to do it, Jeff?
You do it this time.
Oh, you do it.
No, we're good.
Tell me when.
Whoa. Push it all the way
And it stopped.
down. Crazy, huh?
And there's got an adjuster on the back of it, so you can,
Oh, you can do the tone?
yeah, you kind of tune it up or down.
We have headlights.
Whoa.
Are we on?
Yes.
About that. Man, we can go cruising tonight. Look at that. Got rear?
No.
Not getting anything in the back. I think it just had running lights, didn't it? Yep. Remember, we found a bulb in that box that might not even have one in it. Should we put a little fuel in the tank? I did prime the bulb. I put a little fuel in here, so you know we got a little bit in there just to start with.
That's your choke and what else?
Choke and air fuel, so we enrich and lean it.
So do you change that on the fly as you're driving?
You can change it on the fly as you drive. The old school rule of thumb, I'm gonna close it all the way down and open it up 3.5 turns. Get us close to where we need to be.
How close are we to cranking it?
Yeah, get some fuel in it, I think.
Fuel, check oil.
Check oil and we'll be good to go.
Got it. Get enough angle with the dangle there. Okay.
The vent.
Oh, the vent too.
The vent is
Vent's right there. Yeah.
So we're full. We're full.
Okay. Looky here. There it is. Safe enough to roll with it. Here's the oil filler cap right here. And we do have some oil in here for us.
What is
Nice
it?
to have some Go Pure Guard 30 weight that was in the car with us that Joe gave to us yesterday. Okay.
You get a fire extinguisher there handy just in case something goes south.
So as Joe told us yesterday, you know, we have fuel and spark, right? This is gas. No, this is gas, right? This is gas.
This is gas. That
Gas
was
and spark. So he said to retard it and put the fuel down just a little bit.
Make sure that's turned on.
What is it? Oh, the fuel cut. Okay. So the gas tank is right above us right here. And so this is the fuel pit cock. So this is off and this is on.
Okay.
We got possibly a stuck float. We have gas running out.
Oh, I can see it there, yeah. Shiny. Is the gears working?
Yeah. Seems to be pretty decent, to tell you the truth. It's nice and smooth. We actually have brakes. It's a little squeaky, but I think we're actually getting pedal. You know, they're not hydraulic, they're a rod.
We may have to take the carburetor off and see if it's a float, but I'm going to tap on it. Sometimes you can tap on it and get the float released.
Open it.
Let's leave it closed for a minute and we'll see if
You want
it'll-
to try and start it?
Yeah.
Okay, the magic moment. Here we go. So key is on, out of gear, and starter button. You okay? And as you look on the floor down here, the starter is way up high up here. Ready?
I got the joke.
Okay, here we go. Let's see if we... Turning. Ready? Okay.
Okay.
I got the fuel off still.
I know.
But hey,
Let's go ahead and
she lives.
turn it back on. Turn
You want
the
fuel on? Okay, I'm gonna turn that on first, okay?
Yeah. Just,
Okay. Are headlights on?
yes.
Headlights on?
Off.
What about now? What about there?
Yes.
Okay.
We're not leaking.
We're not leaking.
You got it on?
It's on. We'll try it again.
Try it again.
Okay, key back on.
Okay.
Okay. How about that? Yeah. I'm advancing spark, advancing fuel. Look at that. God, doesn't it sound great? Look, the gas pedal. Yeah.
It lives.
Hey, windshield wiper still works too. How about this? So, does it move is the next question. There's reverse.
Yeah, that's why I was looking to see if it was coming out of the vent tube. Yeah, it's down about an inch or so.
Oh man, he poured out a bunch too. How about that, buddy? You make it work, man.
So, we're gonna be able to drive it over and surprise him?
Well, let's just put him. Let's call him on the phone. All right, let's give him a. Don't get his answering machine. You know, he actually has an answering machine still. Doesn't own a cell phone.
Hello,
Well, hello there, Joe Taff.
what's going on?
Well, I just thought we'd give you a little update on your little car here.
All right.
Well, believe it or not, the worst thing that we ran into was Jeff is too fat to get in from the driver's side to get to the steering wheel. Hey, Joe, we got it running. We had a stuck float on the carburetor that gave us a little bit of trouble. We drained out some bad gas, kind of.
Yeah. Well, I thought it would run with just a little TLC.
That's exactly what you said, and you were correct. So, how about that? She lives again.
I'm glad it lives again.
Boy, us too. Jerry has a question for you also.
So, Joe, we got it running now. Would you like a ride in it, or would you like to try and drive it once your foot gets better, or what?
Well, yeah, I'll just have to figure that out at the time, I guess.
Because you got a little foot problem now,
Yeah,
but
I'm up to wearing this halfway sock, which is quite an improvement because it was really swelled up.
But yeah, I'll be interested in it a little later on.
this to give you a little incentive to get back to walking around.
Yeah.
Jerry is going to go right to work on this video here pretty quick, so we'll actually get to show you the story from start to finish. It was quite a production getting it all washed up and getting it going. It was great. Everybody just fell in love with it. How many brothers and sisters did you have?
One brother and one sister.
Okay, so all of
I
you.
never could figure that out. My sister has two brothers and I just have one.